Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into the future of healthcare in India?
Sounds exciting.
We're taking a close look at Dr. Lal PathLabs, DLPL for short.
Ah, DLPL.
They're a giant in the Indian healthcare scene, been around for over 75 years.
Wow, 75 years. That's impressive.
Yeah, they've built this massive network of labs and patient service centers. We're talking 280 labs.
That's a lot.
5,700 patient service centers.
Wow.
And get this, nearly 12,000 pickup points.
They're everywhere.
So we're going to unpack their latest financial results, the Q2 FY25 numbers,
Aye.
see what we can learn about their success, and maybe even get a glimpse of where healthcare in India is headed.
I like it, using DLPL as like a window into the whole sector.
Exactly. I mean, they're so deeply rooted in the Indian healthcare system that their performance can really tell us a lot about the bigger picture.
Makes sense.
All right, let's jump right into it. DLPL just announced their highest ever revenue. Drum roll, please.
Okay.
A whopping Rs 660 crore in Q2 FY25.
660 crore.
That's almost a 10% jump from last year.
That's a huge jump.
And if you look at the first half of FY25 as a whole, they're already at Rs 1,262 crore.
Wow.
With a growth rate of, get this, over 10%.
If they're on a roll.
It's pretty remarkable. So what do you make of this consistent growth?
Well, to me, it suggests DLPL is in a prime position to really benefit from the rising healthcare spending in India. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
The healthcare sector is growing rapidly.
Yeah.
And DLPL is right there, ready to ride that wave. For investors, this could be a really interesting opportunity.
Right. So they're not just riding the wave. They're kind of like driving the wave, creating their own momentum.
Exactly. And what's even more impressive is that this growth isn't just a one-time thing. Even if you take into account those price increases they put in place earlier, DLPL's still on this upward trajectory.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's not just a blip, it's a trend.
Right. It really highlights just how strong their position in the market is, and how effectively they're expanding their reach.
All right, let's dig a little deeper into this growth. Break it down. DLPL saw an 8.6% increase in the number of samples they processed just in Q2.
8.6%, all right.
And a 3.9% rise in patient volume, again, just in Q2.
So more patients, and each patient is getting more tests done.
Exactly. And if you look at the first half of the year, those numbers jump even higher. 9.1% increase in samples.
Wow.
And 4.8% for patient volume.
That's a lot of growth.
It is. So it's more than just like more people walking through the door.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what you said.
Yeah.
It's also that DLPL is providing this wider range of tests and services to each person.
Yeah.
They're not just doing the basic stuff anymore. It's becoming much more comprehensive.
Yeah, like a one-stop shop for all your healthcare needs.
Exactly. And the numbers back that up. Look at their revenue per patient. It's gone up significantly, almost 6% year over year.
Yeah.
They're now at Rs 844 per patient.
844, right?
So they're not just seeing more patients.
Yeah.
They're also getting more revenue for each patient because they're offering those more specialized services.
So it really seems like they're becoming more involved in a patient's entire healthcare journey, not just a single test here and there.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's about building that long-term relationship with the patient.
And speaking of comprehensive care, let's talk about their SwasthFit portfolio. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have.
So these are like bundled test packages, right?
Right. Tailored to specific health needs.
It kind of reminds me of when I got one of those full-body health checkups.
Yeah, I've done those too.
It was so convenient just to get everything done at once.
Absolutely. It's much easier than scheduling individual tests.
Right. And I bet that convenience factor is a big draw for a lot of people.
I think so too. It fits into people's busy lives.
Yeah. And in the Indian market, SwasthFit is a real game changer, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I think it reflects a couple of really important trends. One is this growing awareness of preventative health care.
Right.
People are starting to understand that it's better to catch things early. And two, it's about managing chronic diseases. There's a huge and growing need for that in India.
Makes sense.
So SwasthFit is kind of like hitting both of those birds with one stone.
I like that analogy. And the numbers certainly back it up.
Oh, yeah.
SwasthFit is contributing a solid 24% to DLPL's volumes and revenue in Q2.
Wow, 24%, that's significant.
Yeah, they're definitely on to something. It's like they've tapped into this real need in the market.
Totally. And I think what's smart about the bundled testing approach is that it gives patients this more holistic view of their health.
Yeah.
And often they can get it at a lower cost than if they were getting all those tests individually.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So it's a win-win, both for DLPL and for the patients.
All right, now here's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
DLPL isn't just growing.
Yeah.
They're doing it profitably.
That's the key, right?
Exactly. They've maintained this strong EBITDA margin of 29.5% in the first half of FY25. EBITDA is just a measure of their profitability before you factor in things like interest and taxes.
Right, it gives you a good sense of how efficiently they're running their operations.
Exactly. So 29.5% is pretty impressive, especially in such a competitive market.
It really is. And if you connect that back to what we were just talking about operational efficiency, it becomes clear that's a major driver of their success. They're increasing the number of tests per patient. They're using technology to streamline their costs, and that's allowing them to boost their profitability.
Yeah, they're setting a great example of how to scale a healthcare business without having to sacrifice those profit margins.
Absolutely. It's a lesson a lot of companies can learn from.
But they're not stopping there.
Of course not.
They've got some pretty ambitious plans to expand even further.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
They're looking to open 15 to 20 new labs this year.
15 to 20, that's a lot.
And add around 800 collection centers.
Oh, wow.
Across both their own brand and Suburban Diagnostics.
Wow, the acquisition.
Yeah. And get this. They're focusing on those tier 3 and 4 towns, the smaller cities and towns.
The ones that are often overlooked.
Exactly. So what do you think about this strategy of focusing on tier 3 and 4 towns?
I think it's a bold move.
Yeah.
And it's really important. We've been talking about access to healthcare.
Yeah.
And in India, there's a real disparity between urban and rural areas. So by expanding into those underserved markets, DLPL is not just making a smart business decision.
Yeah.
They're also helping to address a really critical social need.
It's like they've found a way to combine a social mission with this really savvy business strategy.
Exactly. And it also aligns perfectly with a lot of the government initiatives that are aimed at improving healthcare access across the country.
So they're kind of riding that wave, too, the government's focus on healthcare.
Absolutely. It's a smart move all around.
And speaking of smart moves, let's talk about that Suburban Diagnostics acquisition for a second. It seems to be working out pretty well for them, don't you think?
It really does. The latest numbers are impressive. Suburban Diagnostics is seeing revenue growth of around 11.6%.
11.6%, that's great.
And their EBITDA margins are up to 20% in Q2.
Wow.
So it's clear that DLPL knows how to pick them.
Yeah, they've got a good eye for potential.
And they're also really good at integrating those acquired businesses and making them even more successful.
So they're not just buying companies, they're making them better.
Exactly. It's not just about growth. It's about smart, strategic growth.
Okay, but it's not all about physical expansion, right? DLPL is also making big investments in digital infrastructure.
Oh, yeah. They're all in on digital.
And these really innovative initiatives, they're embracing the future of healthcare, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're using automation, cybersecurity, and all these AI-driven tools to make their operations smoother and enhance patient care. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and get this. They've hit every single target that was set by the government's digital health mission.
No way. Every single one.
Every single one, which is huge. It shows they're not just keeping up with the trends in digital healthcare.
Yeah.
They're actually leading the charge.
It's really impressive. They clearly understand that technology is crucial, not just for improving the patient experience, but for making healthcare more accessible and boosting efficiency.
It's like they're putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to digital healthcare.
Exactly. And it shows they're in it for the long haul. They're not just jumping on the bandwagon. They're really committed to transforming healthcare through technology.
And here's another thing that really impressed me. Their commitment to sustainability. They're not just focused on the bottom line.
Sustainability.
They're really striving to be responsible corporate citizens. What do you think about that aspect of their business?
I think it's fantastic. It's so important for companies to think about their impact on the environment and society as a whole. And DLPL has really embraced that. They've put in place all these measures, like they're using solar panels, they're using electric bikes for sample collection.
Well, it's really cool.
That's awesome. And they're even using biodegradable bags. So they're really looking at every aspect of their operations and thinking about how to make it more sustainable.
And it's not just small gestures. They're making a real impact.
Oh, absolutely.
They've managed to reduce their plastic waste by over 5,210 tons every year.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's like the amount of plastic waste that a small city generates.
It's a huge accomplishment.
And they've saved over 1.3 million aliquots annually.
That's a lot of aliquots.
Yeah, it's a real testament to their commitment to sustainability. They're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Right. And I think that resonates with consumers too, especially younger generations. People want to support companies that are doing good for the planet.
Yeah, it definitely makes me feel good about supporting them, knowing that they're taking these steps. But there's a big change coming up for DLPL. Dr. Om Prakash Manchanda, their managing director, is stepping down in March 25.
Ah, yes, the leadership transition.
That's a pretty big shift for any company.
It is. But, I think one of the things that makes DLPL so strong is that they have this really solid management team in place.
Yeah.
So even though Dr. Manchanda is stepping down, he's going to stay on as an advisor.
Oh, that's good to know.
So he'll still be there to offer his experience and guidance.
So it's not like they're losing him completely.
Exactly. And if you look at what the rest of the management team has been saying, there's a real sense of confidence there.
Okay.
They're all very committed to DLPL's strategic direction. They seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, that's reassuring. It sounds like DLPL is in good hands, even with this change at the top. You know what? What's striking me about all of this is that it's not just about these impressive financial numbers.
Right.
It's really about what DLPL's success tells us about the future of healthcare in India.
I agree.
We're seeing technology, accessibility, and this more patient-centric approach becoming increasingly important.
Yeah, those are the trends that are shaping the future.
What's so fascinating about DLPL is that they're actually giving us a glimpse into that future. A future where healthcare is more personalized, more accessible, and more technologically advanced. I don't know. It's exciting.
It is exciting. It's like they're a microcosm of all the changes that are happening in the Indian healthcare landscape.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that this is a dynamic and rapidly evolving sector full of possibilities.
In this deep dive, it's not just about understanding one company, right?
Right.
It's about prompting us to think critically about where healthcare is headed and how it's going to affect all of our lives. DLPL is just the starting point.
I love that. It's about looking beyond the numbers and seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
All right. I'm ready for more.
Let's take an even closer look at how DLPL is achieving these impressive results in part 2.
Sounds good to me. So, in that last part, we were talking about DLPL's expansion into those Tier 3 and 4 towns. It's a pretty big deal, right? Like a game changer for healthcare access in those areas.
Definitely. Yeah.
But it's not just about, setting up shop in a new location.
Right.
It's about actually making sure those services are top-notch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that they're truly benefiting the communities they're serving, right?
That's a really good point, yeah.
So how are they making it happen on the ground?
Yeah, what are the practical steps they're taking to make this expansion work?
Well, they're taking this multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
First off, they've been aggressively expanding their physical infrastructure
Okay.
in these areas, like building new labs and stuff.
So more labs, more collection centers.
Exactly. We're talking about a 17% growth rate in labs and a 24% increase in collection centers.
Wow, 24%.
Just in Tier 3 and 4 towns over the past 4 years.
That's a serious commitment.
It really is.
So they're really bringing those essential services closer to the people who need them the most.
Exactly. And it's about more than just buildings, right?
Right.
They also need to make sure that the quality and expertise are consistent.
Yeah, across all these new locations, it's got to be a challenge to maintain those standards.
It is, but that's where DLPL's robust training programs come in.
Okay.
They've invested heavily in training local talent, making sure that everyone has this skills and knowledge.
To meet their standards.
Exactly. Remember that CSR project they have, Project Neve?
No, I don't think so.
It's all about empowering phlebotomists.
Phlebotomists.
Yeah, the people who collect your blood samples.
Oh, right.
Making sure that they can provide excellent service.
Okay, so it's not just about expanding. It's about building this whole ecosystem. Exactly. Empowering those local communities.
Right.
But also making sure that the quality is consistent across their whole network.
I think that's a great way to put it, yeah.
It's really impressive.
It's a win-win for everyone involved.
And this focus on quality, it seems to be evident in everything they do.
Yeah.
From those internal audits to their performance in those external quality assessments. Mm-hmm. They've even received awards for their commitment to quality control.
That's awesome.
So it's not just about meeting the bar.
Right.
It's about exceeding it.
Exactly.
And that kind of brings us to another piece of this puzzle, their embrace of technology.
Oh, yeah. Their digital initiatives are pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, I was really blown away by it.
Like, technology is really at the heart of how they see the future. They're
Yeah.
using all these AI-powered tools for, like, everything,
Yeah.
from recommending tests to optimizing how they transport those samples.
It's wild.
Even their website has gotten this, like, makeover to make it easier for patients to use.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to remove all the friction from healthcare, you know.
Exactly. Make it as smooth and intuitive as possible.
And they even have their own AI-based recommendation engine. I think it's called Rico.ai.
Yeah, Rico.ai.
It suggests relevant tests to patients based on their history, demographics, even past results.
It's like having a personalized health advisor right in your pocket.
And let's not forget about all their work with the Ayushman Bharat digital mission.
Yeah, they're early adopters of that.
And they've already hit all the milestones that were set by the government.
It's huge.
Yeah, it shows how serious they are about integrating with that national digital health infrastructure.
Making healthcare more connected, more accessible for everyone.
But technology, it's not just about the patient side of things, right?
It's also about making all those behind-the-scenes operations more efficient.
Exactly.
Like their logistics app is a perfect example.
Okay.
They use machine learning to figure out the best routes for collecting and delivering those samples.
So everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. On time, efficiently.
I mean, that's brilliant.
It is. And they even have this automated lead management system.
Okay.
Streamlines the whole process, from booking appointments to sending out reports.
So they're using technology to, like, work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
And that translates into cost savings and a smoother experience for everyone involved.
For the patients, the healthcare providers, everybody.
With all this digital stuff, though, I'm curious about their approach to cybersecurity.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge concern in healthcare.
With all that sensitive data flying around.
Absolutely. And DLPL has taken it seriously.
Okay, good.
They've implemented all these state-of-the-art cybersecurity measures, everything from data loss prevention technology to a 247 security operations center.
Wow, 247, that's impressive.
They're really going the extra mile to protect that data.
It's good to hear that they're not just jumping on the tech bandwagon, but that they're doing it responsibly.
Absolutely, with security as a top priority.
And then, of course, there's their commitment to sustainability, which we touched on earlier.
Yeah, it's really impressive how they've woven that into every aspect of their business.
Yeah, it's not just a side project for them.
It's part of their DNA.
They've embraced everything from solar panels to electric vehicles to water conservation.
They even use those biodegradable bags for collecting samples, remember?
Oh, yeah. I love.
And they've reduced their plastic waste by, like, a massive amount.
Yeah, over 5,210 tons annually.
It's the equivalent of planting thousands of trees.
That's a real tangible impact.
It's not just about looking good. It's about actually making a difference.
It's really inspiring, and it makes you wonder if that commitment to sustainability plays a role in attracting and retaining talent.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, people want to work for companies that share their values.
The huge factor, especially for younger generations.
So DLPL seems to have found this sweet spot, balancing profitability with actually making a positive impact on the world.
It's a tough balance to strike, but they're doing it.
But let's not forget that the diagnostics market in India, it's incredibly competitive.
Oh, it's cutthroat out there.
So how are they navigating that landscape and staying ahead of the game?
Well, they've got a few things going for them.
Okay.
First, their brand recognition is incredibly strong.
Yeah, everybody knows Dr. Lal PathLabs.
Exactly. They built that trust over decades.
And their network is so extensive, it's hard to compete with that.
Right, they're everywhere.
And of course, that unwavering commitment to quality that we've been talking about.
Yeah, that sets them apart.
And they've been really strategic about how they expand, you know?
Yeah.
Focusing on those high growth areas and using technology to reach more people and make their operations more efficient.
It's a smart playbook.
And that acquisition of Suburban Diagnostics, that was a really smart move.
It was. It strengthened their presence in the Western region, especially in Mumbai.
Which is a key market.
Huge market.
So they're really playing the long game here, investing in initiatives that will drive sustainable growth.
And maintain that competitive edge for years to come.
Yeah, they're not just sitting back and enjoying their success.
No, they're always looking for ways to improve and innovate.
And they're not afraid to branch out and try new things.
Like what?
I'm thinking about those specialized offerings in areas like genomics and personalized medicine.
Oh, yeah, that's cutting-edge stuff.
It is.
Their genetic testing division, GenEvolve, has been incredibly successful.
Really?
They offer this wide range of tests,
Okay.
covering everything from cancer genetics to reproductive genetics.
Wow.
And they've even ventured into wellness genomics and pharmacogenomics.
Pharmacogenomics.
Yeah, it's about using your genetic information to figure out which medications will work best for you.
That's amazing.
It is. And it
Yeah.
taps into this growing demand for personalized healthcare solutions.
Yeah. People want healthcare that's tailored to their individual needs.
Exactly. And DLPL is at the forefront of that trend.
They're really pushing the boundaries, aren't they?
They are. They're constantly innovating and exploring what's possible in diagnostics.
And they've also established those centers of excellence,
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
like LCORD for reproductive diagnostics and LACE for autoimmune disorders.
It's a bold move.
What's the thinking behind that?
Well, I think it's a way for them to showcase their expertise in these specialized areas.
Yeah.
And to attract patients who are looking for that very specific kind of care.
So it's about becoming like a one-stop shop for
Exactly.
all your diagnostic needs.
From the routine stuff to the highly specialized stuff.
And meeting all those diverse patient needs.
It's all about options, giving people choices.
But let's shift gears for a second and talk about their financial performance.
All right, back to the numbers.
How are they managing to stay so profitable in such a fiercely competitive market?
It's a testament to their operational efficiency
Okay.
and their smart pricing strategies.
Yeah.
They've managed to maintain these really healthy margins even while expanding into new markets and investing heavily in technology.
That's a tough balancing act.
It is, but they're pulling it off.
Their EBITDA margin, that 29.5% in the first half of FY25, that's pretty impressive.
It is. It shows that they're running a tight ship and making smart financial decisions.
And they're clearly committed to growth.
Yeah.
Judging by their plans to open all those new labs and collection centers this year.
They're not afraid to put their money where their mouth is.
Exactly, and they haven't forgotten about their shareholders either.
Dividends.
Yeah. They recently announced that second interim dividend of INR 6 per share.
That's good news for investors.
Yeah, it shows financial strength and a belief in their ability to keep generating those earnings over the long term.
Makes them a very attractive investment opportunity.
It does. For those looking for both growth and income.
They really seem to have ticked all the boxes.
They do. Strong financials, innovative offerings, a commitment to quality and sustainability, and a clear vision for the future.
It's a compelling package.
But I'm also curious about the challenges they might face going forward.
Yeah, there are always challenges.
The healthcare landscape is constantly shifting.
It is. New threats, new opportunities. It's never boring.
So what are some of the potential hurdles that DLPL might encounter in the years ahead?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges, and this is true for the whole diagnostic sector, is the rising cost of healthcare.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It affects everyone, and patients are becoming more and more cost-conscious.
Right. People are looking for value.
Exactly. So there's this increasing pressure to keep prices affordable
Yeah.
while still delivering those high-quality services.
It's a tough balancing act.
It is, but DLPL's been pretty strategic about their pricing.
Yeah.
They're focused on volume growth and making their operations as efficient as possible.
Right. So that helps keep costs down.
Exactly. And those bundled testing packages, like SwasthFit,
Yeah.
they also give patients more value for their money.
So it's about finding ways to make healthcare more accessible without cutting corners.
Right, without sacrificing quality or profitability.
Another challenge, I imagine, is attracting and retaining top talent.
Oh yeah, that's always a battle.
Especially in those specialized areas like genomics and digital healthcare.
There's a competitive market out there
Companies have to offer competitive salaries and benefits.
and a stimulating work environment.
Yeah, people want to feel like they're doing something meaningful.
Exactly, and DLPL gets that. They've been investing in employee training and development programs.
To keep their team up to date.
Right, and they've cultivated this culture of innovation and excellence.
Which attracts those top performers.
People who are passionate about healthcare.
So it's like they're taking this holistic approach to talent management,
I think that's a great way to put it, yeah.
recognizing that their employees are their most valuable asset
Absolutely. Happy employees mean happy patients.
and a more successful company overall.
Exactly, it's all connected.
And let's not forget about the regulatory environment in India.
Ah, yes, the ever-changing rules and regulations.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It is. The healthcare sector is heavily regulated, and those regulations are constantly evolving.
So how's DLPL handling all that?
Well, They have a strong track record of compliance.
Okay, good.
They've been very proactive in adapting to new regulations and making sure they're doing everything by the book.
So they're not taking any shortcuts.
No, and they've even received recognition for their excellence in risk management.
Wow, so they're really on top of it.
They are, and I think that commitment to quality and compliance is a major differentiator for them.
Yeah, it builds trust.
With patients, with regulators, everyone.
And that's essential for long-term success in this industry.
Absolutely gives them a competitive advantage.
So they're really ticking all the boxes.
It seems like it.
Solid financials, innovative services, a commitment to quality and ethical practices, and a knack for adapting to a changing landscape.
They've got it all.
But what's next for DLPL?
Yeah. Where do they go from here?
What are their long-term growth strategies?
And what challenges might they face along the way? Well, they've outlined a pretty clear vision for the future.
Okay.
And it's all about maintaining their leadership position.
In those core markets.
Right. But also expanding into those high-growth areas.
Like those tier 3 and 4 towns.
Exactly. And they're going all in on technology, digital healthcare solutions, personalized medicine.
They're not afraid of the future.
No, they're embracing it.
And their commitment to sustainability and social responsibility.
That's going to continue to be a core part of their brand.
It sets them apart.
It does. And it resonates with consumers and investors who are looking for companies that are doing good in the world.
So it sounds like they're in a really strong position to continue their success story.
I think so.
Even as the healthcare landscape keeps evolving,
They've shown that they can adapt
they can innovate,
and they can execute their strategies effectively.
and they've got a strong leadership team with a clear vision.
It's exciting to see where they go next.
It really is. It's been a fascinating journey so far, exploring the world of DLPL
Yes,
and seeing how they're shaping the future of healthcare in India.
they're definitely a company to watch.
They are.
And their story offers valuable insights for anyone who's interested in the intersection of healthcare, technology, and social impact.
This deep dive has given me a lot to think about,
Me too.
from the increasing importance of personalized medicine
Yeah.
to the transformative role that technology is playing in making healthcare more accessible and efficient.
It's a really exciting time to be in healthcare.
It is, and it's clear that DLPL is at the forefront of this transformation.
Paving the way for a healthcare system that's more accessible, more personalized, and more technologically advanced.
This deep dive has left me feeling incredibly optimistic about what the future holds for healthcare.
Me too. There's so much potential.
It's a future where technology and human ingenuity can work together to create a healthcare system that truly puts patients first.
And is accessible to everyone.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our exploration of Dr. Lal PathLabs and the exciting future of healthcare in India.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Keep those questions coming.
Stay curious about the world.
And most importantly, stay well.
All right, so we've really dug deep into Dr. Lal PathLabs.
Yeah, covered a lot of ground.
Their financials, their strategies, all that good stuff.
It's impressive what they're doing.
But now I kind of want to zoom out a bit
Okay, yeah.
and think about what DLPL's success tells us about the bigger picture of healthcare in India.
A macro view.
Exactly. Like, what does it all mean?
Well, I think what's really exciting is that DLPL's story, it's not just about one company.
Right.
It's like a glimpse into the future of healthcare in India.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that.
A future where technology, accessibility, and a more patient-centric approach are really driving the change.
Yeah, like all the pieces are starting to fit together in my head.
Yeah.
Their expansion into those smaller towns, their focus on digital healthcare, their push into personalized medicine.
Right, it's all connected.
It all kind of points to a future where quality healthcare is within reach for more people.
Exactly. Regardless of where they live or their background.
It's like a more equitable healthcare system.
I think that's a great way to put it.
And it's not just about access, right? It's about empowering patients.
Giving them more control.
Exactly. Like with those AI-driven tools and personalized medicine offerings, people are able to make more informed decisions about their own health.
It's a big shift from that traditional model,
It is, yeah.
where the doctor tells you what to do.
It's moving away from reactive care.
Exactly. It's becoming more proactive.
Instead of waiting for symptoms to appear.
Yeah, you're taking charge of your health.
And using technology and personalized insights to, like, prevent diseases.
Or manage them more effectively.
Yeah, that focus on prevention is so critical.
Especially with chronic diseases on the rise in India.
It feels like DLPL is trying to change the whole mindset, you know?
Yeah, from sick care to healthcare.
Exactly. And technology is playing a huge role in making that happen.
It is. Think about the potential of telemedicine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remote monitoring devices,
Yeah.
all these AI-powered diagnostics.
It's going to change everything.
It is. Healthcare is becoming more convenient,
More affordable.
more accessible.
It's like it's breaking free from the traditional settings like hospitals and clinics,
Right. It's becoming more integrated into our daily lives.
which makes DLPL's investments in digital infrastructure and cybersecurity even more important
They're laying the groundwork for a future where our health data is secure
and accessible.
and can be shared seamlessly between patients, doctors, and researchers.
And just imagine the potential for medical breakthroughs.
The advancements that could come from this interconnected healthcare ecosystem.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. It's exciting to think about.
And it's not just about the health benefits, right?
Right.
There are economic implications too,
Absolutely. A healthier population means a more productive workforce.
which drives economic growth.
Exactly. It's all connected.
It's like DLPL's initiatives are contributing to a healthier and more prosperous India.
It's a win-win for everyone.
But this future, it doesn't come without its challenges, right?
Of course not. There are always challenges.
What are some of the things that we need to be thinking about?
Well, I think one of the biggest concerns is data privacy and security.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
As we move toward this more digital healthcare system, protecting that sensitive patient information becomes even more crucial.
And how do we ensure that technology is used ethically and responsibly?
That's another big question.
Yeah, like with AI-powered diagnostics and personalized medicine.
Right. There are concerns about bias in the data,
Transparency.
the potential for misuse.
Those are valid concerns.
They are. We need to have those open and honest conversations.
About the ethical implications of these technologies.
The DLPL's commitment to transparency and responsible innovation is a good start.
But it's an ongoing conversation.
One that needs to involve everyone.
And we can't forget about the digital divide.
Yeah, access to technology isn't equal,
Not everyone has a smartphone or reliable internet.
especially in rural areas.
DLPL's expansion into those smaller towns is a step in the right direction.
But it's going to take a collaborative effort.
From the government, the private sector.
Everyone needs to work together.
So it sounds like the future of healthcare in India, it holds both incredible promise
Absolutely.
and some very real challenges.
But it's a future worth fighting for.
It is, and one thing's for sure, DLPL is leading the way.
They are paving the path toward a healthcare system that's more accessible, more personalized, and more technologically advanced.
This deep dive has left me feeling incredibly optimistic about what the future holds for healthcare.
Me too. It's inspiring to see companies like DLPL pushing the boundaries.
It's a future where technology and human ingenuity can come together to create a healthcare system that truly puts patients first.
And is accessible to all.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our exploration of Dr. Lal PathLabs and the exciting future of healthcare in India.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay well.